Virgo.
Hello everyone, it is a new month and it's good to see you here as always. And before we start today, I would just like to thank you all for sharing. Our site is growing and I totally appreciate that, and all your comments, your feedback, your emails. Even though I may not have time to go in and respond to all of them, I do read them, so thank you for that. Now, also before we proceed, I have created a little tune which is for healing, and that in mind I have those that went down on the Malaysian jet, those who crossed over the Rainbow Bridge, and for their family members who have lost their loved ones, also the ferry boat that capsized with all those children in it. And most of us, we are mothers, you know, and as females, even for those of you who have no children, we are natural born healers. It's within our natures. And don't get me wrong, I also have a good percentage of you men too, so you're absolutely welcome to participate. But I would like to ask you to take a moment to listen to this, and while you close your eyes and allow your hearts to open and send forth that healing energy, both to those who have departed, but also to those family members who are left back, and the hurt that they're feeling. So I thought I'd do this month. You'll find a button so you can just click through, listen, and then come back, and we shall see what's up for you here now this month. Hello Virgo, this is your forecast for June 2014. And this is a month that I think you're highly going to come to appreciate for many reasons. For one, it is going to be a work month, and that's something that you do very well. You probably do it better than any of us, right? So the sun here this month is going to be transiting through the 10th house of career in the sign of Gemini, which allows you to communicate what it is what thoughts you have and what vision you have of the future. And it's all about bringing this out to the higher ups. And as you radiate and shine, well, this is the time of the year to really make a mark, to make an impression. Now, what makes it even better yet, that Gemini, the ruler of Gemini is Mercury, which is your ruler. So it's kind of like even stronger here for you. And to up it even more so a notch, well, let's look at Mercury and what Mercury is doing. You know, the spokesperson of the spoken word, right? Communication is starting out in your 11th house for hopes and dreams, friendships and networks, but then it's going to retrograde and go back into your 10th house. So as it was moving direct, it might have gone so swiftly past that you could have had thoughts about the changes you want to make, but you might not have taken the opportunity to actually express it. So now when it comes back in around, you're going to have a great chance and opportunity to renegotiate or retweak whatever agreements that you have in your work agreement. And not only that, but then we have Venus, which is going to join the crowd of the Sun and Mercury. And Venus is all about, you know, what you love, the passion that you hold. And in this instance, it's going to be for your career, but it also rules money. All right, so let's pay attention when Venus moves into this area, so you'll have the right dates to really know when you can improve your income stream. All right. We have Mars too in the 2nd house when we're talking about income. Mars has been in this area for a long time, several months now, and it has been going back and forth and, you know, retrograding there. But here as of May 19th, 20th, it's moving forward into to June, and you'll feel that you're aligned with the Marsian energy, which is very goal-oriented and really now hungry to streamline your financial situation. I think through this whole retrograde phase from March 1st till now, you've been like, okay, so what can I do? And what do I deserve? See, second house is not just money, it's self-esteem, it's the worth that we hold. And so Mars is saying, well, you know, I'm worth more than what I'm getting. And being in the sign of Libra, it's been balancing, right? So you've been balancing your worth. You know all the effort that you put in, and nobody works as professionally and specifically as you do, Virgo, because you are such a perfectionist. Not only are you always on time and meet your deadlines, you clean up, you know, and you clean up after others who don't clean up, even in the workplace. So, yes, you are highly valued, and any employer would be very lucky to have you working for them. So, when Venus comes in here, triggers Mars, it's got the power of the sun, got the power of communication with you too, Mercury. So this is such an alignment that I hope you make the most out of it, so that you can see that this is going to behoove you for not just now in the near future, but way down the line, all right? And then we have the new moon this month. It's going to be in your area of hopes and dreams. It's in the 11th house, and that's always the time to put down your intentions, your affirmations, so you can plant those seeds so they can grow throughout the whole year. And in this area, it's you aligning yourself with your hopes and dreams. What is it you really wish? You know, you're always serving somebody else. So what is it you wish, Virgo? You know, you want to take that power internally and say, you know, if I had time, this is what I'd love to do. Well, go for it. Put that as an intention. And it's the area of friendships too, and you might attract new friendships here this month, so pay attention to them. Some of them can come to become very long-term friends. It's also catching up with friends from the past. Mercury retrograde will help you to do that as well in this area. But yeah, hopes and dreams, friendships, it's also you maybe affiliating with some groups or organizations, and maybe telling yourself, you know, I'd like to get more involved in charity. I really do want to help. Well, you know, make that your intention. Add it into, you know, you can have a list of intentions which is all about this area, where you can be the big sister, the big brother for those in need or help. You know, that's what that Uranian energy loves to do, is to reach out to these groups in a very idealistic way. Somehow connected like to Neptune. Neptune's a little different in their humanitarian efforts, but Uranus has that too. So now what we will want to look at is how is your relationships going? That's a big question, right? Also because we have Neptune now going retrograde. And what happens when we have a planet turn retrograde? We know, you know, how Mercury works and all that. But Neptune ties into these ideal settings that you have, the hopes, the loftier visions, that cosmic love. And I say love not only because Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, which is love, but you have it in the 7th house for love and relationships, committed relationships. So, you know, as long as you're keeping it real, you can reach the highest levels that is offered here, at least on this planet, with unconventional love. Neptune just wanting to give and looking at everything in this beautiful picture that, you know, I call it cosmic love. You know, it's not an earthly love, which is always so tainted and full of, which I say, find the word, I'm Norwegian. Conditions, okay? It's not a conditional love. The Neptunian love is so unconditional. The only actual bond you can see here, which has that total unconditional love, is between mother and child. No matter what, you love them, right? But to have a partner, you don't see that so often, that they're as unconditional as you can come to experience now. When Neptune goes retrograde, Neptune could be like this echo repeater system in our mind, like when you shout out in the canyons and you'll hear the echoes. So there might be echoes from the past coming in, and it could be projected onto your current partner, but the echoes can come from a past relationship. You might come to see patterns coming in, bleeding into one another, you know, and filtering. And you want to make sure that you're seeing it for what it is, that this is a reflection or affair of something that happened in the past, and I'm not going to project it onto my current partner because he or she she's got nothing to do with the past, right? So make sure that you see the differentiation there so it doesn't get a little muddled, which it can do with Neptune. It's also keeping it real as to what you hear, what your partner is speaking. There can be a lot of promises that have come up, not followed through on, so one can become a little disillusioned too. But see, all of this is that lower octave of Neptune. The higher octave of Neptune doesn't get better than that, but it really takes a spiritual, aware person to live up to those heightened frequencies, you know, the laws of karma, the laws of the universe, to keep things real. So yeah, you might see that you're going to be processing, filtering through past relationships, and it could be with current, you know, situations coming up, you know, which you will be facing as well. And this retrograde is going to be going on from June 10th to November 16th. So you have a lot of months here, plenty of time to process, and make sure that whatever needs to be forgiven, let it go. You know, forgive it, let it go. This is the true value of forgiveness. It's not saying that whoever wronged you now suddenly are right by forgiving them. It just means you are letting go of the burden and the cross that you have chosen to carry ever since the incident happened. Now, if that was 15 years ago, it happened in a split second in the now, 15 years ago. But here you are recreating, remember the echo, the canyons of Neptune? So why have you carried it for an additional 15 years? You know, so is that the person who created in you's fault, or is that your responsibility? So forgiveness is so important that we take that and understand it for what it is. It's all about liberating the heart, liberating the mind and spirit, so that we can walk easier in our steps as we move forward. Big, big, big message there from Neptune, with love to you. And then we still have a little adjustments going on here in your 8th house. Okay, now, you know, we've had the Grand Cross. Some of you have been severely tried. Some of you have come through it easier. It all depends, you know, on this big cross here, how it is superimposed upon your natal planets. Now, yes, some of them can trigger beautiful sextiles, trines, and whatnot. So many of you have harvested and shunted into your future, you know, the new beginnings. Others, if it was touching upon already afflicted planets, well, yep, then you will have felt, you know, the difficulties, the challenges of this Grand Cross. But we're moving out of it right now. But for you, it's been between the 2nd and 8th house. So it's your income stream. The money coming in, but also the money that you hold with others, banks or financial institutions, you know, money with your partner and so forth. And then the other has been between the 5th and 11th house, so having to do with your children perhaps, and how they act or interact with you, and how they are interacting maybe with your finances. Maybe this has been one of the challenges too, especially if you're a single parent. You might have been feeling that extra harsh right now these last few months. But that's going to be easing up, and also why I say make the most out of this month here in June. To go ask for a raise, you know, be brave enough to do so. So yeah, so you can see we have a lot of things here going on, and Jupiter here is still doing its magic in the 11th house. So, you know, you've been expanding a whole lot of, should I say, time with friends or organizations. So you've been doing a lot of good here this whole last year, and we've got a couple of months left, and that will be it. That it's going to be moving into your 12th house. All right, so it's going to take a little bit of a hiatus. It will actually now then want to start expanding your own self, your spiritual self. It's like more moving within and then going up a few notches spiritually. Not as much focus out in the world. You've been doing that the last 11 years. So for now, it's more like closing up on that 12-year cycle of Jupiter, where it wants to take the synopsis of everything, you know, of all those 11 years, and it's really wanting to connect the dots. Where did I go? You know, what did I experience? What did I achieve? And what were the hardships? What do I need to forgive? 12th house is all about forgiveness. You know, it's a Neptunian house. So what do I need to kind of throw out? So that's what you're going to be doing from a little bit later this summer. But now enjoy the rest of this journey. You will have it throughout that of June to, you know, embrace the fun that you can have in this area. You might be traveling too here with some friends. So let's take a look. We got the new moon on the 27th. That would be in your 11th house. We talked about you planting those, you know, seeds there. Full moon on the 13th. And so for you here this month, it's going to be in your opposite sign. No, not your opposite, your square sign, I'm sorry. It is in your 4th house for home and family traditions. You might see that you're going to be bringing a whole lot more of attention to the home. You might be beautifying or somehow just maybe even having family gatherings, all right? So let's see here, top of the month, what can you expect? It is going to start off here, Virgo, with Venus and Neptune. And Venus is big this month because it's in its own sign. It's in Taurus. It rules this sign. And Taurus is very earthy, and you are an earth sign. It's in your sister sign, so it's powerful just because of that too. But it's also the embodiment of Venus here in Taurus, which is very sensual. All right, so you might feel more sensual this month. Now I put a link up here, Venus in June, or in May for now. June will be coming, so pay attention to that a little bit later after June 1st. Yeah, the link will be there. But the embodiment of Venus in Taurus, like I said, it's sensual, it's beautiful, it beautifies, you know, you'll radiate a little bit more. And for you, it is in that 9th house. So maybe you're going to be traveling. Maybe you're going to have a very romantic trip. Love here, maybe even out of the country, because it is that 9th house. But paired up here with Neptune on the 4th, yes, it is a romantic time for those of you in a relationship. For those of you single, well, you might just come to meet somebody. If not, it would be such a perfect time for you to do so. And then followed by an unexpected surprise on the 6th. And the 6th, it can come out of nowhere. Okay, it's like a lightning bolt out of the blue. But could be in the area of work and also money. But not your monthly. It's more like could be a maybe a bonus or a commission or something being provided to you, or a payout of some sort could come out. Then we have Mercury turning retrograde on the 7th, June 7th. And then it will already be in your 11th. It's going to start heading back into your 10th, but it won't reach your 10th house before it goes back into Gemini on the 17th, okay? So anytime after the 17th is a good time to renegotiate what's going on there with your payroll that we mentioned. So on the 8th, we have a very passionate day, all right? Back to relationships, okay? Venus and Pluto, when they're together in a trine, it doesn't get better than that because it's so deep, it's so spiritually felt. Not just like the loftiness, that cosmic higher energy of Neptune. Pluto is really right here, okay? It's all in embodiment. But the healing effect of it really can wipe away a lot of old pain and wounds and whatnot because of the intensity of the intimacy. So we're not just talking the physical intimacy, but it's the soul sharing embodied. So put that on your calendar for the 8th. Neptune turns retrograde June 9th. So then you have it all the way to November, what was that? November 16th, yeah. But then we have a couple of days we want to watch out a little bit for, at least monitor ourselves. That's Venus and Saturn opposing one another. And for you, it's going to be between the 3rd and the 9th house. And it could be relating to something perhaps being delayed on a trip. It is in your travel areas. But it could also just be something with money here. So, you know, make sure you don't, you know, drop your credit card somewhere. you know, lose your wallet or something. It could also be with maybe it's past control, because the government is in here, which is Saturn. And Saturn is retrograde, okay? This is why I'm saying we want to be a little careful there. Just, you know, be aware, that's all. On the 14th, there might be a situation that can come up or flare up a little bit. That is Mars and Pluto. And Mars is fiery, you know, and it's always full of reactions, wanting to do. It's so spontaneous. Mars doesn't think. Mercury thinks. So when Mars is triggered here by Pluto, well, Mars is just going to want to react. Mars is dynamite and Pluto is nuclear, and they're butting heads. So this could be somebody around you having some kind of reaction, and then you're going to have to kind of come in, or maybe you will have a reaction and feel triggered or provoked somehow. But as long as you know it's coming, you know, and you're aware of it, just try to lay low, because even this shall pass. You know, got to pick your battles, right? So then we have on the 18th, such a beautiful day. It's Venus and Jupiter. It's the two most beautiful planets together, which is love and abundance. And there's all this gratefulness and gratitude. And for you, this is going to be between the 9th and the 11th house. So wonderful time to share with friends. And there might be somebody that can open a door for you, perhaps, because there could come opportunities from this area. So yes, it is a day that you definitely want to see if you can, you know, join an event or create an event for the ones that you love. You might be seeing loved ones at far, might be traveling, because still it is that 9th house, right, where Venus is. Then we have on the 20th, the Sun and Mercury. They are conjunct in your 10th house for career. So that is a big day, a good day to perhaps renegotiate something. But, you know, try to not sign any contracts as long as Mercury is retrograde. And it will be to July 1st. You can talk, you can, you know, brainstorm together, but try to keep the agreement verbal until we get out into July, just so it doesn't have to be redone. That's the only thing we want to be a little careful with. And then we have Mars and Uranus here on the 25th, just after Venus has moved into your career house. Mars and Uranus are going to have a little meeting here, and they're doing a toe-to-toe. It is between your 2nd and 8th house. So it's really highlighting the areas of your self-esteem, your worth, and now we know that you've been talking here career-wise, or however it is, you've been lining up how to improve your financial situation. Now, you're going to have a trigger here on the 25th, and it could be with a financial institution as well, but it's going to bring things up, and it doesn't have to be a negative, even though it is in opposition. It could be if it's triggered by other planets in your natal chart, which I don't see from here. But, you know, you've been around this block. This is pertaining to something that came up earlier for you there in April, March, April. So it's not something necessarily new. It's more like, I feel, now that Mars is direct, that you can conclude something that you've been working for. So, hey, that's good, right? Because after this opposition, after the 25th, you're leaving it, you know, leaving it alone, and you've been working for months on this. So we're ending the month with Venus and Neptune in a beautiful trine. Go back to June 4th. What did you experience on that day or evening? Because this is more like a repeat, maybe just even, if possible, somewhat better, because the sextile is only like a half a trine, so now you got the full trine, okay? So it's not the half cup, it's the full cup. Great day to you know, have your intimate talks, sharing, or go out and do something romantic, candlelight dinners and whatnot. So yeah, so if you're listening to this early in May, you might want to come back in June just to catch up on the dates if you haven't written them down, because you have actually some very, very good dates that's going to really launch you now into summer. We've come through the hardest part of the Grand Cross, and you know, as astrologers, we always love to give you good news. And these last months, everything that could go retrograde went retrograde. It slowed things down, it delayed things, and yes, then we had all the oppositions and squares. Then it's really hard to give good news, but you know what? We're heading into it. So hey, listen to your moon and rising sign. That will give you just a little bit more insight what's coming up for you here in June. And then you can also go listen to that Venus and what's taking place in May. And when June comes around, I will make sure to stick up a link there for you. All right? So, bye now.